Good Sunday morning, everybody. I'm taking Skank to a new level. I'm not sure that I've slept or showered since I left LA because we are in the home stretch for writing a book. Anyone out there that says, I want to write a book, inbox me first. It's such a process. And I'm so glad that I have you guys because this is my final call out to make sure that every single thing that you guys want to know is in the book. We've, you know, I spend hours a day on the page. I hear all kinds of, questions. Stuff comes up. You guys all know we've talked about everything from the vagina monologues to blood clots to how, beyond bound can become gummy depending on atrophy and all of that stuff. So I have a list. I posted it in the description of the live feed. And it's all the things that are kind of like once we go through the whole book and we really explain fascia, all the things that we wanted to add in, everything from, blasting your pets to getting over plateaus, to, detox, to what happens with, emotions stored in the fascia and all of that. And you guys, let me tell you, the book is so good. I just can't even believe it. I was always afraid that I would have to write the first book about cellulite, which is such a tiny piece of what we do. But in order to explain cellulite, we have to explain fascia, and I'm so stoked. My son, Steven, worked on these drawings tirelessly. But all of these things, for the first time really in history, I think, it's being explained visually and in a way that people can really understand. I know one of the drawings that I did myself, I'm trying to find it, was just, the idea of healthy fascia and unhealthy fascia. And, well, I'll show you the healthy fascia. And I tried to look at other people's drawings and, they just don't have it right. So you guys are seriously in for a treat when this book comes out. And before you go, when, we go to editing this week, which is very exciting. I deliver the manuscript on Wednesday, complete with pictures and illustrations. This is another illustration, you guys. Check that out. That is the spinal cord and all the things that we've been labeling dura mater, pia mater, and arachnoid matter are actually 3 layers of fascia. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a taste of what was coming up in the book and really give you kind of last chance. I know you guys, when I go live and do Q&A, you guys are on it. Y'all are on it like we used to watch Friends or Sex in the City. So definitely, if there's things that you've been wondering, don't be shy. This is the time. I'm going to comb through every single comment tonight and make sure that in our section of the book, I'll show you. Look how thick this is, and then the book will be small enough to fit in your purse, so it's going to be a little thick. But we have the whole, back end of it talking about remodeling fascia and all the things that in order to do it. And it's things, restore fascia, smoothing the skin, fat lysing, restoring blood supply, nerve activity, increased muscle access, changing your bony structure, improving stretch marks, beating up your scar tissue, vein appearance, reversing aging, improve neurology, improve mental capacity, detoxification support. Somebody said headaches. That goes in the detox category. Organ function, emotional state, flexibility, improve sports performance, pain inhibition, libido, crazy women. Overall systemic life changes, autoimmune, how we can help you to build muscle, how the Fascia Blaster cannot make you skinny or lean, you know, rechanging the neuroconnection with your posture, limited effects on veins, limited effect on scar tissue, limited results without heating, restrictions with skin healing, limitations on stretch marks, and then all this whole other list. So I think the book is going to be one of those things where from now on, when you guys have a question, I'm just going to send you the link to purchase. No, I'm just kidding. But timeline, I squirreled. Anybody that knows me, I'm so ADD, particularly when I have manuscript in front of me. But so we go to editing this week. We have 2 months basically to stuff everything into this book, and then November and December will be in print. And we will have some raw editions that we'll probably give away as prizes to get some final feedback. And then we also are able to pre-sale over Christmas. So for sure, I hope that all of you will treat yourself to a copy of my book for Christmas. And then the minute that it's released, which I believe is going to be kind of mid to late January, we're having to work around, you know, the inauguration. So January-ish is it. But anyway, I'm reading as I'm talking is why pelvic floor and incontinence. You know what, Susie Graber, that's a great one. We touched on it, but I think we can touch on it more. Donna Kaufman, the hormones is in there. Crystal, I don't know the cost of the book yet, but it's not going to be expensive. And yes, it will be on Amazon as well. My glasses, whoever's, it were scrolled up. These are like the $10 ones that you buy at the bookstore. Let's see, can we blast away Hillary? Y'all are funny. Lymph nodes is in there. Varicose veins is in there. I'm just reading you guys as they pop up. I had somebody say recovering from an injury. That's in the scar tissue section. Inflexibility after the injury is all in scar tissue. So, Chrissy, that's a really good one too. Noticing lumps and bumps under the skin because they were already there. It's just that the fascia blaster starts to break big chunks into smaller chunks, and that is also in there. Shaylin Bailey Dunlap, yes, our whole goal is to make it fit into the purse. I mean, for one, I know that the celebrities are going to wig out over this book, and I definitely want to get them photographed with it in their bags, as well as all of you. But I travel all the time on planes, and I'm such an avid reader that it's so important to me that it like slip down into your bag. So, let me see more in-depth information on, yeah. So the Lucetta, the detox and the rashes, how to treat them, what's coming to the surface, all of that is in the book for sure. Angela Rennie, I am not including the heart butt exercises because the book is about the cellulite myth. But the second book that we're going to do is going to be the diet and exercise myth. And that's where exercises and dieting will be. So you got to wait till 2017 or 2018 for that one. Let me just see if there's anything. So in terms of like, Linda says cervical spine pain, it's not directly related to cellulite, but first of all, if you haven't seen the migraine blog, go to fasciablaster.com/migraine because that's going to help you with your cervical pain. And there's also a Billionaire Healthcare episode, which is my radio show, about back pain, and understanding where it's coming from will really help you. And also inbox me. Silly question. Why can I drink way more alcoholic beverages without the buzz feeling? That's because your body's working the way that it's supposed to. And instead of having alcohol getting trapped in your cells, it's moving on out of there. The stretch marks I get, I don't know if you guys have seen some of the pictures, but like for instance, Lainey, she blasted her stomach and her whole stomach bruised, but her stretch marks. And that means that she's still not to the layer that she's getting blood to the stretch marks, because my stretch marks do the exact opposite. When you blast, the blood comes into the stretch marks and I actually bruise in the stretch marks. So everyone's different. It's the goal is to get the blood into the stretch marks. Fibromyalgia, we do have a whole fascia chart that I already wrote and it's already in the public. I decided to go ahead and put it in the book. So then you guys are asking about the tour. We are doing a 10-city tour, and it is going to be, I hate to use a cuss word on a Sunday morning, but it's going to be a shit show. It's going to be so awesome. I have the best company helping me put it together. So it's going to be everything from live Q&A to professional education to the book signing. All of the products that are complementary to fascia blasting are going to be there with our sponsors. And then we're going to make it into, a full-blown party. So Casey Connie, she says, are there any areas we need to avoid, like nerves? First of all, you want to blast nerves. That's a good thing. And second of all, the areas to avoid are included in the book. Somebody says concert feeling chunks. I'm not sure what that means, but chunks just means that you're breaking things up, and just they'll go from chunks to gravel to sand and then gone. So keep going. Just have to do it a little bit at a time. Water intake, a whole section about hydration. It's a huge part of the process. Linda Ann says, do not use so the blood clots, we're very specific in this book about the contraindications because there's so few and we go in depth. We also just kind of have words of warning, like shingles. Those are things we don't know. My mom blasts all the time and she had shingles that it didn't come out, but we've been asked about it. So we try to just be really forthright with just some stuff to be looking out for. Brenda says she wants the diet and exercise. Everybody does, but so just so y'all know, I have a whole series of books that I want to do, and it's called the Body Myth series. And I think one of the biggest misunderstandings in doing this in Hollywood with huge weight gains and weight loss and, like trying to make someone's dress look good on the red carpet and all the work I did with pro athletes, where it was position specific, is there's just a huge myth out there that any good diet or any exercise is appropriate, but it's a very careful manipulation and it's very scientific. In fact, I had to sit with reporters last week and they're like, tell us about your method. And I was like, my method? That's strange. I don't have a method. I'm just presenting facts. So I think I shocked them. But anyway, let's see. While I have you guys, I'll answer some of y'all's question. Janice says, is there any hope for a 60-year-old woman with menopause belly? Pam, who's commenting right below you, Pam I know you're in your 50s, and she has been a seasoned blaster for a long time. She's also one of our moderators. She can definitely speak to that. It doesn't matter whether it's a menopausal belly or not. Just when you're older, things are slower and you do have to consider hormones. I'm not a hormone expert, but I go to hormone experts. You need to make sure that like your body is functioning properly. And then you can use the fascia blaster and proper diet and exercise to have whatever kind of stomach you want. Medical benefits. I am not Ishuravella Smith. Golly, where are like the Janes? I always get the names that I can't pronounce, and I'm so sorry because they're so exotic and beautiful. I'm not discussing in this particular book because the name of it is the cellulite myth, all of the plantar fasciitis and all of that. But we're working on an app so that you can search by your, illnesses. Yes, Nicole, all 4 types of cellulite, the worse before better, how you can have different types of cellulite on different parts of your body, what that looks like, what it feels like, that is extensive in this book. Lipedema. First of all, Danielle, if you don't know, there is an actual support group called Fascia Blasters for Lipedema, and I suggest you go get into it. But yes, heat is advised, and lipedema, we're having just outstanding results. It's slower, and you have to go layer by layer and do it fast and at the surface. Denver, let me tell you, I will be coming, Carrie, to Denver if there is snow. So make sure that you get with the weatherman and make sure that those slopes are nice and powdery for me, and then I'll be coming to Denver. Actually, my son goes to Colorado School of Mines, so I frequent Colorado quite a bit. He just is doing a foreign exchange in Singapore. So I'll tell y'all a little bit about my family. I don't know where Lakeland, Florida is, but I'm sure Miami is going to be on the tour. So good. Natalie Mulligan says, my stretch marks don't bruise, but they get really red. The deeper and deeper you go, most likely they will at some point turn purple instead of red, but you're doing it right. If you're getting red into the stretch mark, that means you're getting blood into the stretch mark, which means you're getting elastin and collagen into the stretch mark, because that's how those proteins are carried to the skin, is through the blood. Austin, Texas, you know it, girl. Houston, Dallas, Austin. Come to Denver, come to Miami for sure. I'm looking at Seattle. I don't know. Definitely Los Angeles and New York. In fact, we're launching in New York. And then hopefully going to be on Ellen the same week, which is in LA. Philly. Oh my God, I love Philly. So Linda Merrily Stobart. Just so you know, we are working very hard on our international distribution, and Australia, the UK, and Canada, we are trying to get distribution there this year. So UK, you are hooked up. Don't worry, we're coming. Actually, Sarah Weber, I'm not even going to try your last name, but that is something that I added to the list last night, blasting over the surgical mesh. Capsulated breast implants, yes, we do address that. Reconstruction of the breast, yes. I'm all about the boobies, guys. Don't worry. So one lady says, Kendall Carter Keating, that she's blasting her stomach as hard as she can and still no bruising. Just remember that if you're not fat lysing and their tissue is healthy, that you might not bruise, or you may be bruising in a deeper layer. So my question is, are you sore? So not everybody bruises. So don't freak out if you don't bruise. Give it some time. There's people that have blasted for 6 months and then all of a sudden they break out in a huge rash when they hit a layer. You know, this is like taking a building down to the studs. Okay, so Amber Evans, I gotta hit. So you're still super new, sweetie. There is a blog called Zones on Fascia Blaster that kind of gives you an idea where to get started, but I just really think you need to stay in the group because everybody fascia blasts different. It's almost like an art form. But you know, the short answer is, how much time do you have that day? You can go till you go red. You can pick a knee and just do it for 30 minutes. You know, it's just what your body can take and handle. And every single person has like their own thing. If I did a call out and said, hey, you guys tell me your routine, you'd get 500 different things. Michelle DeWitt says, I can't wait for your book. I can't wait for you guys to have my book, because one of the things that is super annoying is that people are like, I want you to, where's the DVD? I want to have this all in one place. We are talking about teaching you an entire science, and it cannot be done in a YouTube playlist, and it cannot be done in one weekend in a seminar. But with the book, it at least gives you the whole first layer, so that if you're a non-practitioner, just a normal person, and you want to get like a brushstroke of everything that you need to know about fascia and how that relates to cellulite and how to get rid of it. All of that is in the book, and it's in a very organized way. I have an insane, already New York Times bestselling author as my co-writer. So she's there to make sure that my scattered Einstein meets Rob Dyrdek brain somehow becomes a book. Um, uh, Jamaze, maybe? Jamazy? That's an interesting name. Wilson, she says, are there specific supplements or foods that are really good for fascia? That is in the book too. It's in the Feed Yo Fascia section. And in fact, one of the supplements that I'm coming out with, I'm just waiting on the samples, is going to be a water enhancer for your hydration. Please work on the website and a customer service phone number where there's a problem with an order. There isn't a way to cancel an order or to correct an order online through the website. So I'm not sure which website you're talking about. If you don't know, we have two, and one of them is old as the hills, and we are working on it. But if you just simply email support@fasciablaster.com, they will handle your cancellation. You know, we've never charged somebody who reached out and said they didn't want it. So we have to go on a good, better, and best. And I don't know how much you guys know about technology, but getting, you know, custom programs written for the websites and these forums and these apps and all the things that we're doing, it's just time consuming to do that. But we do have plenty of people who love and care about you, and they will make sure that you get taken care of no matter how crappy our website is. So all of the stuff about back pain, my first thing I would say is please send me your pictures. Back pain is 100% related to your symmetry. And if you go listen to the Billionaire Healthcare episode on my radio show about back pain, it will kind of lay the groundwork for it. And then once you send your pictures, I can help analyze. Peggy, who is so cute with her little icon. I saw you on my Patty live feed, and I was like, oh, look at that cute icon. You had hernia surgery years ago, and she's talking about she can't break through on her tummy, and she had a hernia surgery years ago, and the inside structures, you have scars that you can't get into. So the question is, and Peggy, I want you to inbox me on this one, honey. How did they repair the hernia? Because if it were sewn up and it's just scarred up and from stitches, that's different than if you had mesh put in. So we don't want to go beating up mesh. Shooting pain in and after blasting, is that the nerves being stimulated? Yes, I can tell you that, like when I blast my calves and ankles, which are some of the tightest spots on me, or my forehead with the Face Mini, it literally feels like fireworks are going off, and that's the nerves. Anytime that you have like a burning sensation, an itching sensation, or that little like creepy, crawly, nervy, that it's all nerves. Okay, let's see. Just have learned about from my neuropath what extra supplements to help take you through the detox, maybe help me. Jenny, feel free to post what your naturopath said. You know, I'm not here to promote other people's products, but I also think that, you know, everyone has their own way of detoxing. You know, I've recommended electrolytes, which are really specific for different things on the periodic table, which I go in depth in my book. But I also think, you know, liver support, I also think there's some complete kits out there, which I don't have that as a product available to you yet, so feel free to post that. Chronic urinary tract infections, you know, I just don't know, Michelle. You know, at the end of the day, that can be the position of the way your bladder inserts. But what I would say as a blanket statement is that anything that's good for your cells is good for your whole body. And so, you know, clean diet, fascia blasting, hydrating, flushing the blood through your body with exercise, all of those things are good for cells. And I would assume that they would be good for UTIs. Heidi, I answered this a little earlier, but I know you guys are just joining in. So the manuscript is actually due this Wednesday with pictures, with illustrations laid out, the cover, everything. It's all done. And then we'll have 2 months of editing. And then the book will be for sale starting in November, but that will be the pre-sales, which you guys, I'm just going to basically beg between now and then that you buy it on the pre-sale, because it's very important to me that this book become not only a New York Times and Amazon bestseller, but I want it to be the book of the year. And I know that you guys can help me with that. And it's going to be, you know, a cheap book, not cheap, but you know, I mean, it's like going to be in line with other books. It's not going to be price hiked. It's, I'm not even trying to make money off of this book. I just want to get it in everyone's hands and kind of start the movement. So I hope that all of you will support me with that. Yes, blasting for stored trauma. That's in the book. Insulin resistant. I mean, it doesn't really matter, Raylan, whether it's, you know, insulin resistant fat pockets or fat pockets, and you can break them up with the fascia blaster. Long time bruising, especially on the inner thighs. Michelle Anton Smith, inner thighs are like one of my nemesis too. They're always sensitive, and I always get like a little, you know, dime-sized bruises on my inner thighs. It's just one of those areas. I think, you know, even our blasters who've been out there, you know, a year and a half, there's so many layers, and we just don't activate them and stretch them properly. There's no movements unless you're like pole dancing or like a gymnast that really get them open. And so I think the nature of our kind of sitting lifestyles and I'm trying not to say it too sciencey, but you know, just when we're walking and doing everything in the sagittal plane of movement, we don't get those inner thighs going. So what I would say is definitely start exercising them, stretching them, and blasting them, and hopefully they'll stop. Wilmington, North Carolina. I don't know. I'm really honestly not planning the tour. It's going to be based on we know a lot about you guys. We know where you live. We know your zip codes. So we're definitely going to be hitting our places where we have the most fans. Priscilla, don't you worry. I got fupa, labia, skin tightening, libido. It's all in the section of the book. Houston, Thelma Gonzalez absolutely is on the list. It's the third largest city, girl. Of course, we're going to be there. And Chicago. Let's see. Okay, so Brandon Janae Briggs Homer says all of the heating things. Yes. So in the book, I'm not only really in detail explaining what heat does to fascia, but I'm going to make some specific recommendations about which saunas I like the best. In fact, we're testing a bunch of them right now. So I'm going to be really specific about, you know, what I like. And again, I'm all about educating you and you doing what you want. But I'm at least going to give you my opinion and weigh in. Michelle Warren, that's a really good idea to mention the PTSD. So we'll add that. Tucson, Phoenix. Jenny Price is begging in the snow states. You don't listen. You don't have to convince me. If there's snowboarding and surfing, I'm there. So Tammy says in southern. So SOMD, is that southern Minnesota is a no-go? Probably not, but maybe we could get to a city close enough that it'd be worth it to drive over. Jennifer Rose says she's just joining and she needs to know about blasting while on hormone placements. The only thing you need to know is, yes, take hormone replacements if your doctor thinks you need it, and blast your little self like crazy. Asura is how you say that name. Thank you so much for the phonetic. Asura. It sounds really, really sexy. I love it. Bonnie, you're so sweet. She's like just thanking me for all the hard work. To believe you me, it has been hard work. And in fact, if I would have known how awful it was to write a book. I probably wouldn't have, but since I'm already done, then now I can just go, oh, okay. I hope editing, if they come back with a whole ton of edits, I think I'm just gonna go to Costa Rica and turn off my phone and be like, oops, I don't get reception. Yes, Karen, Seattle is gorgeous. It's actually one of my favorite cities. I love all up the whole, well, actually, I just love to travel, but I love all the way up the coast up there with Oregon, and I love to go to Vancouver. I keep going. One of my favorite places is Whistler. Charlotte says, when are you going to be on Ellen? So let me say this. Ellen is never a guarantee. Okay. You know, I know people who know people who know people, and that's our goal. Is obviously she has the best show and she's the coolest girl on the whole planet, and her show is thebomb.com. So our goal is to come out on that week. So anyway, stay tuned. I'll let you know. Trust me, none of this is going to none of this is going to happen without you guys knowing it. If the video, somebody said it's cutting off, it might be your internet connection. Mine is saying that it's strong and live. But I will tell you this, that every single live feed, if you don't know it, you guys, is stored on the page. You just have to go to the video section, and it doesn't matter what live feed it is, this one or another one. They always repost and store. So you can get, trust me, you can get more Ashley Black than you ever wanted. Orange County, California. You know I'm there all the time, Marcy Patrick. That is my surf towns down there. I do not have a chart, Wanda Brokaw, about where we hold emotions, because, you know, I've seen that. I've seen it. People have broken it down in chakras. I've seen it, you know, in different places that are related to the nervous system. But I can tell you that I personally, I've seen too much to really buy into one philosophy. But what I will say is that in my experience, and again, I'm just giving you my personal experience, the most trauma and memories and suppressions and flashbacks come in the front of the hips and the stomach. Okay, Daniel Van Cleler. We're going to, in 2017, we're launching all of Europe. The thing I love about Europe is the free trade agreement, because it's one patent and very good distribution. So hang tight. We will definitely be in every single country in Europe next year. Tammy Winterstein says, I'm definitely interested in researching the info on, I think you're saying fascia blasters and not the face one. But either way, I'm happy to tell you whatever you want. Inbox me your questions and give me a few days and I'll get back to you. Camille says, will there be an audiobook? Yes, girl. And in my contract, I will not allow anyone to read it but me. So or Joanna, one of us, one of the writers. So I'm super excited about that. Danielle, I don't want to hear it. We're all right around the corner from you. You can come hang out with me and Joanna anytime you want, but you might get sucked in to help writing the book. Just saying. Breast reduction scars, Jamie, yes, blast them. They're not too close to the lymph nodes. And you can also blast over lymph nodes. You just have to do it lightly. Annie says, finally, the answers to cellulite. Praise God. Ain't that the truth? In fact, for all of my Jesus girls out there, I actually have a Colossians and a Psalms quote that are going in the book that are going to give you the chill bumps, because fascia is mentioned in the Bible. That's all I'm going to say. That's the teaser. Let's see. If I stop blasting, once the cellulite is gone, will it come back? Yes. And that's because cellulite is not... Cellulite is a BS term. It's just the way that the fat is within the connective tissue, and the connective tissue is like any other cell in your body, and it needs consistent maintenance with diet, exercise, and being palpated. I don't know why we kind of got off on derailed in our, I mean, I'm just even looking back over civilizations to where we quit touching our own bodies or quit touching our families' bodies. Even in the pyramids, you can see those people rubbing each other. I think they're helping each other's fascia. So your fascia is a sensory organ in the body. It's a system of the body, and it's constantly taking in information and reacting. So basically, if you do anything that your brain says it needs, your body needs protection, then that protection comes in the form of fascial distortion or fascial lockdown, whatever we're going to call it. So yes, if you laid in bed and did nothing, you probably wouldn't have much proprioception or biofeedback going on, and you might never have to blast again. But if you're going to get up and move around, then yes, fascia blasting is now a part of your life. Um, Dina Lianos is just joining us. She said, when's the book coming out? The short answer is we're pre-selling in December, and then you'll be able to get your hands on it in January. Would ice work as well as heat? Jenna, I can't say it. Anyway, Jenna, no. Ice is what you do afterwards for the inflammation caused, but if you ice and fascia blast, you're going to literally get nowhere. Debbie says you should take the old website down and have it redirect. Thank you for that advice, but we actually sell our prototypes and we test things on the old site, so we have to keep it up for now. Okay, so what channel is the Urgent Radio Show? Tammy, I will put the link to Billionaire Healthcare, but just so you know, it's on the largest live internet talk show radio station. We're the #2 show on there, and it's called Voice America. So if you go to voiceamerica.com, but I also have the Billionaire Healthcare posted on my YouTube channels. Ara Carpizo says, any trainings or seminars? When we do the book tour, we are going to have open to the public live Q&As, seminars, demos. We're going to have people there to fascia blast, and it's just going to be like a total crazy thing. But we're also going to have a practitioners section during the book tour to where you go a little more in depth about the methodologies as a practitioner. So we're going to have both, and they're both going to be free. Christy Spencer, blasting kids. Yes, kids and pets are in the book. Soul Sorez says alternatives to high impact exercises. You know what, Soul, if you haven't yet, I want you to understand I'm not anti-impact exercise. What I'm anti is that if your body is not completely symmetrical and you're not consistently addressing your fascia, impact exercises make the fascia worse. But I can tell you that any exercise can be bad for you if you're all cattywampus and out of alignment. So the first thing I would say is send your pictures in. Let's really get you on the wall test. And in fact, if you go to YouTube, there's a whole section where, or playlist section where I analyze 8 girls' posture, and every single one of them is different. So if you could run in perfect posture, then I'd be all for it. If you could do CrossFit in perfect posture, I'm all for it. But if you're struggling with just being able to, put your shoulders in the right place, find your core and all of that, then you really need to stick with things that are neurologically simple, or else your brain is going to sense that impact and bring the fascia in to protect you. So instead of taking 2 steps forward with fascia blasting and then taking 2 steps back with inefficient impact, I'd rather see you ground your feet, do something like hot yoga, and really focus on the things that are explained in the wall technique, like the position of the pelvis or getting, in the center of your feet. So, it's not that I'm anti one exercise and for another. What I'm for is proper biomechanics in all exercises. So I hope that makes sense. That is in the book. We do touch on that, but it'll definitely be in the second book, which is the diet and exercise myth. How much do we need to heat? Wendy says, how much heat do we need? You need to be sweating is the short answer. And I understand you on the gels. In fact, it's time again to get these little suckers right here. But I can tell you, I'm looking extra gross this morning. But I can tell you that my skin and my jawline and everything has never looked better. I'm looking back at pictures of me when I'm like 32. and my jawline is better now. So I feel you, girl. Turkey jowls gots to go. Um, let's see. The mini blaster, I don't know which mini blaster you're talking about, but the blaster that has the nugget, we are getting through the list 700 people at a time. And from what I'm told, don't hold me to this, but I think within 2 weeks we're going to have the Mini 2 available to the public, even if you're not on the waiting list. So I'm super excited about getting the Mini 2 out there. I know many of you have already gotten yours. Lucia, I'm not speeding up the face blaster. And the reason why is I've had trouble with the single claws breaking. So until it's fully tested, and I may change the way that it inserts, I do not want somebody breaking a fascia blaster on their face. So that is the reason for holding for that release till next year. We got to fully test that little sucker. So Monica Snow says she's trying to get relief from carpal tunnel, but so far blasting has not gotten it. My fingers are still numb. So are you just blasting your arm and your hand? Are you actually using the technique of using the claw or the nugget to dig out the fingers and dig out the carpal tunnel? So if you're not doing that, that's what I would say. Carpal tunnel is completely, I'm just going to use it, and it's a terrible word to use in public. It'll probably come back to haunt me, but it can completely cure carpal tunnel. Carpal tunnel just means that your fascia is choking out your carpal tunnel, and it's causing, sensory and nerve problems. It's completely fixable, but you can't just blast. You got to actually dig. The poke and wiggle technique or the scraping. Okay. So Lisa, Jane, go back and watch the whole feed if you have a chance. I'm not offering CEUs at this time. I am, though, going to have some professional education during the book tour. I am all for doing the CEUs. It's just that I have the whole world to launch the product with, and then we'll have to go back for that. I can't do everything at once. Rhonda says she's a huge fan and she's been on the site since 8,000 followers. Isn't it crazy, you guys? We literally are getting almost 10,000 requests a week and having to vet every single one of them. I just feel like we're going to hit 100,000 before too long, and I'm really happy that everybody is following the rules and keeping it positive. And when I've shown the group to outside people that don't know anything about it, they're like, wow, this is really different. You guys are doing something incredible. So thank you, ladies, for being a part of this. Joy Poulsen says, are you doing a pre-sale campaign? Girl, yes. I already said all y'all are going to help me get this to be the book of the year and New York Times and Amazon bestseller. So get your credit cards ready. As soon as I know a price, I'll tell you, but it's just going to be like the normal price of a book, and it will be more information than you could even imagine. Even when I'm reading it, I'm like, oh my God, this book is so freaking dope. People are going to, it's like a fruit basket turnover for the whole health industry. Let's see, I hear a lot of the same questions, so I'm just going to keep scrolling. So don't worry about where to buy it. In order to hit these bestseller lists, I'm going to have to actually sell it through bookstores, online bookstores, and Amazon. But I'll provide you all the links. Right now, we're still, look, this is the book. Here is this condition that it is in. It is still being held together with a paper clip. So trust you me, I'm getting it together as fast as I can. It's pretty unbelievable, the process to write a book. Anybody who's wanting to write a book, don't write a book. If you actually want to take it to market, you actually write a proposal for your book, and then you get a publishing deal, and then you write it, because they always have opinions. Okay, let's see. You guys are just asking me so many questions. I can't read it fast enough. Joy Poulsen says, have you considered an infomercial? No, I have not. No, actually, I ran down that path many years ago, and I always felt like I would launch on, Home Shopping Network or an infomercial, because it's just a way to get a bunch of information to people really quickly. But what I found out is that the internet is now so sophisticated with things like Facebook live feeds that I just don't even need that. Kristen Milburn says, who is the publisher of the book? The publisher is Penn Hill Post. They are in New York City. But the really exciting part is that our distribution is through Simon and Schuster, which is one of the biggest. They may have written, and launched books that you might have heard of, kind of like Twilight, if you've ever heard of that. So I am with the best of the best. So I'm in really good hands. Let's see. Sitting is the new smoking. Y'all are funny. No, you can't pre-order it now, but trust me, I'm going to be on here every day begging you guys to buy it. The tour dates, I don't have the exact dates, but I just know that we're doing a 10-city tour, and it's going to be pretty much late January through early April is kind of the time frame. I have long time bruising. I can only browse about once a week. So, Kristen, you need to back out, sister. You need to stay more surface and go faster, and do it every day and not go to the point of bruising. Sometimes, in fact, if you have thick layers of fascia that's all bound together, the hard blasting that's bruising you can actually create, waves from the fascia blaster. So just back out and do it intuitively for you, what feels too light, and do it every day for about a week or two and see if that helps you get over the hump. I love you guys. Okay, listen. Corrine, bigger boobs, really? I love you, but I cannot help you with that. I can help you with smaller pit tit and smaller tummy so that your boobs look bigger, but I cannot make boobs bigger. Heating face. Some of these places that you guys live, I've never heard of, and I am an avid traveler. Let's see. Oh, New Orleans. Girl, I don't know if that's on the tour or not, but I'll come anyway. I'm going to come see Summer, Irreplaceable Turner, and eat me some gumbo and drink me a hurricane. So someone is talking about not having a breakthrough on their tummy. She discovered yesterday, I have been playing relaxing spa music all the time. Big mistake. I did fast music and whoa, I was able to go. Yes, I actually think music has a lot to do with fascia blasting. In fact, I'm glad you brought it up because to me, that's something that we should add to the book. Because there's sometimes when you're having a love fest with your body where you're just really stimulating the blood flow or working on an injury and it's like, yes, and you want to lay down and just kind of relax. And there are other times where I'm like, all right, fat pocket, you're going down today. And that's when you whip out the Beyonce, get some good Alanis Morissette hate music. I don't know, go have an argument with someone, get all amped up. Let's see. Annie says, when is your birthday? My birthday is April 25th. I'm a Taurus, and I am very stubborn, but stubborn in a good way. Hey, Sherry, what's up? Let's see. I feel like I'm going backwards, and it's crazy trying to do this live. You have no idea. I should make each of you do a live feed. Sherry says, surf's up. Girl, I know. Trust me, I'm going surfing next week somewhere. Joy Poulsen says, would you go on Shark Tank? No, I would not go on Shark Tank. I've actually been reached out to several times by Shark Tank. And what I told my manager was, you tell the sharks unless I'm one of the sharks, or if they want to do the dolphin den where women help women instead of just throwing money at them and then hoping they can swim. So stay tuned. I have lots of friends in the television business, and I would love to see a real Shark Tank where it's not about getting over on the poor inventor, but about really taking someone like me who, built it from the ground up and really show them the way. So that is a long-term goal of mine. Thank you for mentioning that, though, Joy. Okay, scar tissue we got. Annie says, what area do you mean the front of the hips? I mean the hip flexors. Yeah, hip flexors and stomachs tend to be what I see personally as the most emotional trauma Um, Jamie Korak says Anatomy of the Spirit for emotional storage info. Is that a book? If it is, you can post the link. I'm all for helping people who are into it. Audiobook, yes. We should sell stock. I have no intention of going public, but if I do, you ladies will be the first to know. Oh, I'm way behind on comments. You guys are on it this morning. Why are you guys not at church? Let's see. Thank you. Jillian is sending the love. Jillian, heart, love back to you, sister girl. Okay, so I do want to talk to Juana Mata, who says, can you get hurt by blasting your lower back? My back started to hurt after blasting, been blasting 3 months. This is the first time it hurts. So this is something that is in the book, but I do want to just mention that a lot of times when we have pain somewhere, we go right to the source of pain. But the spine, particularly, well, the spine, the SI, well, really any joint that could have some instability. What you have to understand is that when your body, whether it's your spine, your knee, your neck, elbow, whatever, has been on lockdown, those are muscles that are rendered completely unable to function. So when you go and really open it, two things happen. Number one is if you're talking about these vertebral segments, they open up but they're so loosey goosey because they don't have any stability. And the other thing that happens is that the fascia blaster causes an inflammatory response. So sometimes, no matter where it is on your body, back included, if you create that instability too quickly and you're having inflammation, it can feel like you quote unquote hurt your back. So what I would say is don't blast your back or wherever your spot is for several days, but blast all around it so that you're flushing the blood from those specific fascia lines through there. And then if you are having inflammatory pain, that's where you can use the ice. And then just know that that's an area of instability. So rather than like going in and going hardcore, do it a little bit at a time and do stability exercises in between. And if you don't know what stability exercises to do, just buy my DVDs. They're not that expensive and they baby step you through all the proper biomechanics. A lot of people, you guys are talking about back pain. Before you ask me about back pain, go listen to Billionaire Healthcare, the back pain, because I want you to understand it at a theoretical level. Then you can send me your pictures and I'll be happy to help you with sciatica and all that stuff. Robin Piltz inboxed me about that, but it is okay to work on your mastectomy reconstruction. Okay, so Deborah Smith, what I just was saying about the instability, I don't know if you know this, but I have had 22 surgeries on a hip, and sometimes when I open my hip a lot, that day it's difficult for me to walk because there's so much instability. So what I would say about your hip is the same thing I just said about the other joints, which is do a little bit at a time and do stability exercises in between and ice for the inflammation. And I can tell you, Deborah, on my ice DVDs, which are on Ashley Black Systems, I really address the strength of the little intrinsic muscles of the hip capsule. Let's see, New York. I'll be in New York, but most likely it's New York City. Yes, I'm going to have the book done for pre-sales for Christmas. We'll figure out a way, you guys, like if you want to give the gift either to yourself or to someone else, and we'll definitely do specials and bundles and all that kind of stuff. Some way that you can get a gift card. I don't know how to make that stuff happen. I'm the worst IT person. I can't even believe that I'm able to do a live Facebook feed. Adele Langdon says, can you say when you're in Los Angeles? I come to LA all the time because that's where my entertainment managers and one of my PR firms is. But as far as the tour, our big LA and New York launch will be the first week, and we don't have the exact date, but somewhere right after the inauguration is what we're looking at. Rachel Sweets. Rachel, Girl, you have consumed every blog, video, tweet that I have done. You were probably the most qualified person to tell me what these crazy women want to know. And you are so right. Cankles, chicken legs, all of that stuff, creep skin, all that is in the book. Don't you worry. So Annie says if you have bad alignment, should you go see a physical therapist or chiropractor? Or what I would say is if you have a good one, yes. But we also for sure recommend letting us help you through the posture. And I mentioned earlier on YouTube watching the posture analysis. So I'm a big fan of trying to do as much as you can on your own. And then if you need a specialist, go see them for sure. RA in the hands. Yes, you can blast lightly and then nugget. Okay, let's see. People are talking about and jamming their hips. I can tell that like I'm behind on the comments. So I'm sorry if I'm skipping you. I'm going to go a little bit more towards the bottom. I actually need to finish editing this book. But I did want to try to see if there was anything else. Oh, Bonnie Zanetti says, I'm a 20 plus neuromuscular massage therapist, and the fascia blasters changed my body more than massage or Rolfing. Respect, can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough because, you know, as a manual therapist, I don't know about you, but for me, like using any kind of tool was like out of my wheelhouse. And I know that the fascia blaster looks weird, but thank you for recognizing how much science is behind it. And I'm really trying to save the hands of therapists so that those of us who were gifted with that incredible gift to heal can do it for 20, 30, 40 years and not have 5-year careers. So happy about that. And thank you so much for posting. So people are asking about alignment. Yes, the Fascia Blaster helps with alignment. Go to the YouTube channel and watch the 8 posture analysis that I did on 8 different girls. Karen says, excellent publisher and distributor. Well, thank you very much. It only took me 20 years to get the right people in place. Oh my God. Jessica is talking about her dreams. It's so funny. So many of you guys are dreaming about fascia blaster, either that your fascia blaster is breaking or somebody stole it, or that it made you too skinny or it made you too fat or you had veins pop up or whatever. I think that's hilarious. Marcia Saddle. What is wrong with me that I can't read anyone's name? Anyway, Marcia said Sedlakek says, what is the name of the book? That is a very good question, and it is called The Cellulite Myth. It's not fat, it's fascia. Love it. Let's see. Sherry Martinez, thank you for posting some of those links that I'm talking about. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all my motivators out there. You know who you are. Pit tit. Y'all are funny. Canada, Veronica, I already told you, sister, I'm coming to Canada this year, so get ready. Particularly as soon as that powder falls. All right. Hawaii, I don't know if that's going to be on the book tour, but definitely for sure I will be coming to Hawaii, doing a crash and blast because I love it. Kim Reyes, good morning, Kim. How is one of my favorite moderators? Diane Long says, is 66 too old? No. Annual retreat, yes, we're already looking into that. We have so many requests. It just, you guys, it takes an army to pull all this together, but just know that I am on it. Tammy says she's a Taurus too. Good girl, let's go have an argument. Let's see, let me just keep scrolling. Amber Tolliver says she's driving from Georgia to Indiana as we speak. Linda Indecki. Yes, I do ship to Sweden. So just email support@Fascia Blaster and we can give you the shipping options. But we will be in Europe next year. But don't wait. Girl, get the blaster. It's worth the 30, 40 or whatever dollars it is for shipping. Oh, Chelsea Stillman. Girl, you're going to be here in person. You know we're having our moderator retreat And me and you and that wrist are going to have a throwdown. All right, you guys. Yeah, everybody's like off to church. Exactly. So I have, and my Wi-Fi is dying anyway. So you guys, you're so wonderful. I always plan on doing like a really quick live feed, and then it ends up going 30 minutes because I want you guys to have this information. So I'm super excited about the book because I think it'll answer, 90% of your questions. So again, the original live feed was about things that I wanted to make sure I included in the book. So if you're just joining in on the live feed, please look at the original post above the video. And if you would comment on anything that I might have missed. I want to make sure that the book is all inclusive. Okay, and then one last thing I do want to answer. Ara Carpizo. That's the third time I've blown your name, sister. I'm so sorry. The DVDs are out of stock, but not because the DVDs are out of stock. We are waiting on this stupid shipment of balls that go with it, but I'm told they'll be here within the next 2 weeks. So go ahead and order it. And the second they get in, we're going to be popping out those black packs and DVD kits. All right, listen, everybody have a beautiful, blessed, amazing Sunday. I love you all so much. You know that. And if you're new and you don't know me, I love you anyway. And I hope that you get sucked into the Ashley black hole and become a huge fascia fan. So anyway, bye. Peace and love.